Maya was 22, young enough to dream endlessly, yet old enough to feel the sharp edges of reality. She had always believed that love was a gentle, kind thing, something that made the heart swell and life feel lighter. But she learned far too early that love could also be cruel, merciless, and leave scars that never fade. She lived in a small apartment in the city, one that smelled faintly of coffee and old books, a place that held her laughter and her quiet, secret tears. She worked at a small marketing agency, the kind where every day blurred into the next, and she spent her evenings wandering the streets of the city, headphones in her ears, music filling the emptiness she sometimes felt. She had friends, yes, but there was a loneliness inside her that no one could see. She longed for someone who could see her fully, who could understand the depths of her heart without her having to explain. She didn't know it then, but he was about to arrive, and everything would change. It was a rainy Thursday morning when she first saw him. Her umbrella had flipped inside out in the sudden wind. Her coffee sloshed over the pages of her notebook, and she was cursing softly under her breath. "Need some help?" a voice asked. She looked up, squinting through the rain, and there he was, tall, with dark hair plastered against his forehead from the rain, and a smile that seemed far too warm for a stranger. She hesitated before replying, "Thanks," and he offered his hand to help her steady the umbrella. "I'm Arjun," he said, as if that one word could somehow change her ordinary, rainy day into something unforgettable. And in a way, it did. At first, it was just a small connection. They met again by chance at the same cafe, at the bookstore, even on the same bus. Each time, their conversations were small, seemingly casual, but each word carried weight, and each smile left a lasting imprint on her heart. Maya found herself looking forward to these encounters, a subtle thrill building inside her whenever she saw him. There was nothing dramatic about their meetings, no sparks in the air, no sudden realization of fate, but slowly, imperceptibly, their hearts were weaving together, threads invisible, yet unbreakable. One evening, they walked together down streets glistening with rain. Streetlights reflected on the wet pavement, casting a warm glow that made the city feel intimate, almost secret. Arjun stopped suddenly and looked at her. "Do you believe some people are meant to meet?" he asked. Maya, caught off guard, smiled nervously. "I think so," she whispered, and then, in a gesture that felt both gentle and profound, he took her hand. It wasn't the casual holding of friendship, it was something more, something that spoke of a future they hadn't yet dared to imagine. Maya's heart raced, and she realized, even as fear crept into her chest, that hope was dangerous, yet irresistible. Their love grew quietly. Long walks turned into coffee dates turned into late-night calls. Every small gesture carried meaning, a look, a laugh, a shared silence. Maya had never felt so seen, so understood. Arjun was patient, careful with her heart, and she gave herself to him slowly, savoring every moment, every whispered word, every laugh shared under the dim lights of the city. She believed for the first time that love could be gentle and safe. But love is never without shadows, and those shadows were already beginning to appear. It started with small things: a delayed reply, a phone vibrating too often, a secretive smile at a message she wasn't meant to see. "Who's that?" she asked one evening, trying to keep the tremor out of her voice. "Nothing," he replied too quickly, and Maya's heart sank. She wanted to trust him. She wanted to believe in the love that had grown between them, but doubt had crept in like a cold wind she couldn't escape. Weeks passed, and the small cracks widened. Plans were canceled, calls were avoided, and Maya felt the first true pangs of heartbreak, long before the end had even arrived. The breaking point came one night, drenched in rain and quiet desperation. She confronted him, her voice breaking. "I feel like you're slipping away." He looked at her, eyes full of sorrow, and said, "Maya, I don't know if I can give you what you deserve." Those words were like a knife to her chest, and she felt the air leave her lungs. She wanted to scream, to beg, to hold on to him with all her strength, but she knew that words could not fix what had begun to unravel. And then, as if the world itself had decided, he walked away. Days turned into weeks. Weeks became months. Maya moved through life like a ghost, her laughter hollow, her smile forced. Music reminded her of him, songs on the radio carrying his voice in her memory. Every corner of the city, every street she had walked with him, every cafe, every bookstore, was a monument to what they had shared, now lost. She tried to distract herself with work, friends, even travel, but the weight of heartbreak pressed down on her chest, a constant reminder that love, once given, could leave such profound emptiness. And yet, in the quietest moments, Maya remembered the love they had shared, not with bitterness, not with regret, but with a soft ache that refused to leave. She remembered the way he had looked at her in the rain, the sound of his laughter, the warmth of his hand in hers. Those memories were both a blessing and a curse. They reminded her that she had loved deeply, and that she had been loved in return, even if it wasn't enough. Months turned into years. Maya grew stronger, more resilient, though the scars of her first heartbreak remained. She pursued her passions, found joy in new friendships, and discovered parts of herself she had never known. She wrote, painted, traveled, filling her life with experiences that reminded her that while love could break you, life could also heal you. Yet, in the quiet nights, when the world felt still and the city was bathed in moonlight, she would think of Arjun, and a small, bittersweet smile would touch her lips. Some loves are not meant to last. Some loves are meant to teach us the depths of our hearts. One evening, she saw him across a crowded street, laughing with someone else, a small pang of recognition slicing through her chest. She felt the old ache, the familiar tug of longing. But she didn't run. She didn't call. She simply watched, and in that moment, she realized that some people leave a permanent mark, not because they stay, but because they remind us of what it is to feel fully, entirely, completely. Maya had loved deeply at 22. She had given her heart, her trust, her very self to someone she believed would be hers forever, and yet she had lost. But the loss did not define her. The heartbreak did not break her. She carried it with her, yes, like a shadow that lingered at the edges of her soul, but she also carried the lessons it had given her. The courage to love, the strength to let go, the understanding that love, even when lost, is never wasted. Time passed. Life moved on. Maya found laughter again, found joy in small things, found herself in ways she had never imagined. And though the memory of Arjun sometimes visited her in quiet moments, it no longer consumed her. She had learned that love is not always about keeping someone forever. Sometimes it is about allowing someone to shape your heart, even if their presence is only temporary. And so, Maya lived. She lived fully. She loved cautiously but openly. She allowed herself to dream again, to hope, to feel, and she knew deep down that the love she had lost at 22 had taught her the most important lesson of all, that to love at all is to risk everything, and that every heartbroken story carries the seeds of growth, strength, and an unshakable courage to feel again. Some love stories end in heartbreak, some love stories end in joy, and some love stories like Maya's end somewhere in between, with a heart bruised, a soul wiser, and the knowledge that to have loved at all is to have truly lived.